Well, I think that would be a fair claim. I think over the last 10 years, migration policies in Germany have not worked well. Look, we as a CDU, we always try to have two elements. One is humanity. We will continue to help people in need, but at the same time, we need a bit more order in what migration issues we have at hand here. And the attacks that we've seen lately, horrific attacks, are a case in point here. I think we need to do better here.
I want to get into what you're seeing on the economy, because when we look at the numbers, second year of contraction that we look at from what was the powerhouse of Europe, many say that the business model now for Germany is simply broken thanks to the high energy costs, too much regulation. Is there a sea change coming for business? Anything to be optimistic about?
No, absolutely. I think Germany is an economy which can do much better than it currently does. In the end, it's all about the right policies. We need to reduce bureaucracy. We need to focus on what I call green and growth deal. Of course, protecting the environment, climate change, these are important issues. But at the same time, we need to focus more on growth again. And I think if we do the right policies, we have a strong economic base in Germany. We have strong small and medium-sized enterprises, which are hidden champions in the world. So I think that doing the right policies following the elections, Germany can fairly quickly do better again.
Reviving atomic power seems to be one of the options, and this, of course, after Germany famously, on the back of the Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan, decided to do away with nuclear policy. So is nuclear power coming back, and is that going to be enough? Because I think many are looking at the politics around Ukraine now and saying, if there is a resolution, if there's a peace process here, would it be right to take Russian energy again down the track? What do you think of that mix? If there is a breakthrough, would Germany take energy from the Russians again?
Well, that at this point in time, I see is very difficult. I don't think that will happen anytime soon again, given the fact that we still need a solid peace negotiation, which is not at hand at this point in time. Regarding the nuclear power plants, in my mind, it was a huge mistake in 2022 to shut down the nuclear power plants that we still had. They were technically sound, they were doing well, safe. But the government has, for ideological reasons, decided to shut them down. We should have used them longer, and that would have made a big difference in terms of energy prices, in terms of energy supply. Now, unfortunately, 3 years down the road, these nuclear power plants, they can be recovered, but that would be very hard. It takes 3 to 5 years possibly, and it will take a lot of money. So if we would re-engage again in nuclear energy, it will be not about this generation of nuclear power plants, but more about the next generations, the small modular reactors and nuclear fusion. These are two examples which I think we should have a look at.
Oh, absolutely, Klaus. I've been to that nuclear fusion site down in south of France, and what they could achieve is phenomenal. And indeed, with SMRs, it appears there's a lot of excitement. Klaus, you are an economist before you were a politician. So I want to ask you a question, because, of course, the Schuldenbremse has been in place ever since the Merkel cabinet of, I think, 2009. When did it become clear to you and your colleagues in the CDU that the version of the Schuldenbremse we have at the moment is not fit for purpose?
Well, I wouldn't make that claim that it's not fit for purpose. Quite frankly, the Schuldenbremse still gives a lot of leeway to take on new debt. As a matter of fact, in 2024 and this year, when we look at the budgets, the annual budgets, there is leeway for 50 billion in new debt. So that's not nothing. I think what we need to look more at is, rather than engaging in new public debt, is mobilize private capital, something other economies do much better than we do. So we have a lot of private capital in Germany. We need to think more about models like public-private partnerships and things like that. So in my mind, that's the route we need to take, especially given the sums, the amount of money that is involved in making the economy greener and the issues we have at hand, infrastructure. So we need to mobilize private capital.
Absolutely. And of course, better structural reforms cross-border in Europe would help mobilize that private capital. You and I know that incredibly well. But when you've got a structural deficit capped at 0.35% of GDP, I would imagine, I'm understanding that the debate within the CDU, of course, the party of Merkel, as I remind our viewers, the party of the Schuldenbremse, it's a lively debate. It is live about the future of the Schuldenbremse. That's what the impression I've got from Herr Merz.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he has just yesterday in a TV interview talked about the issue again, and I think that at the federal level he's strictly, well, quite firm. Let's put it that way, about that there is no immediate need to loosen the debt brake. But if we look at the state levels, yeah, the debt brake is much harsher than at the federal level. So perhaps here is some leeway for the state governments to also take on some debt, especially in cases where the economy is not doing well.
You talk